I can turn into a fish. Chapter 47, Powering Up the Control Ability. 3 p.m. After finishing his transformation and remolding, Chu Xian hopped in his car and drove over to the store and opened the doors. Finally, when at evening, an acquaintance walked into the shop. Hee, it really is you, little bro. Old Wang 5 said as he walked in with a knowing look, chuckling to himself. Chu Xian was surprised but greeted him warmly. Brother Wang. What a nice surprise. Please, come in. Sit. Haha, don't worry about me, Old Wang 5 said with a wave of his hand. I just came to take a look. I heard from a friend that someone opened up shop selling some of the best quality goldfish available here on Guwu Street, so I just dropped by to see. Haha, it turns out it's my little bro. Heh, that's right. Chu Xian chuckled and nodded. Old Wang 5 wandered around the store, looking over the hundreds of expensive goldfish and was surprised. I really don't know how you managed to get so many of these amazing goldfish. Tisk, they are all bigger than the ones you sold me the other time. Chu Xian followed behind him, smiling. 2,000 RMB each. Really, little bro, you are selling them a little cheaply. These things don't have any fixed price, but 2,000 is still a little low. Over 3,000 still wouldn't be considered expensive, and you should have no problem selling them at even 4,000 RMB. At Shanghai, they would be at least 4,000. Old Wang 5 continued. Chu Xian nodded. In the beginning, when he sold the first 10 remolded goldfish to Old Wang 5 for 2,000 RMB each, the goldfish were much smaller. Old Wang 5 bought them for 2,000 only because he was confident he could sell them at a higher price. However, the goldfish were now much bigger, and they were now much more expensive. This cheap price, in Brother Wang's words, could even be said to be breaking market rules. Brother Wang. Are you saying I should raise my prices? Chu Xian asked plainly. Yes. Old Wang 5 affirmed. Little bro, I'm not going to lie to you. I came here with an ulterior motive. I need to remind you that you shouldn't sell ornamental fish too cheaply. Expensive types are expensive not only because they're rare, but also because they sell at a high price. I don't know how many goldfish of this kind you can get, but I'm sure you can't get too many. You shouldn't lower the price in order to sell more volume. The people who can afford to buy them won't care about spending a couple thousand RMB on them. Chu Xian nodded, considering his words. Selling a lot of goldfish at this price would definitely affect the market and create at least a small impact butterfly effect. The price of all small ornamental fish would probably drop, and sellers like Old Wang 5 definitely wouldn't want to see this happen. I understand. Chu Xian nodded after a moment of thought. It's good that little brother understands, Brother Wang said with a nod. He stayed to chat a little more before leaving. Brother Wang is right. The value of my goldfish can be set much higher, and the people who can afford them won't care about a couple thousand RMB. My goldfish are a luxury, and after the goldfish become popular, I'll need to focus on remolding larger ornamental fish. At that time, even if I have willing customers, I won't have goldfish to sell. Chu Xian watched Brother Wang leave and thought to himself, I'll raise the price in 2 days. Chu Xian took out his phone and made a video to post on Fast Hands, announcing that he would raise his goldfish prices. That afternoon, Chu Xian sold 10 more goldfish before he closed up shop and drove over to the fish farms at Fengtai. Yesterday, because of the moray eel, he didn't eat many fish. This time, he was going to kill a lot and eat a lot to make up for the level he dropped because of his remolding. Today, the sky was gloomy and black without any moonlight. Chu Xian walked up to the lake and tossed his clothes to the side. A scary and weird fish appeared in the water with a terrifying head, slim serpentine body, and a heavy fan tail. On the whole, the fish looked like a demon from hell. Chu Xian's slim body folded in on itself in its bony shell, connecting the head and tail. He waved his tail forcefully, propelling himself forward. Although I dropped a level, my speed didn't decrease, Chu Xian thought to himself. His speed might be even a little faster with the propelling motion of his strong tail. Near the border of the net, Chu Xian didn't transform back into a human, but instead, swung his body out and over the net. He landed tail first at the Qin family farm. Tucking his tail into his body, Chu Xian opened his mouth and began feasting. Without the disturbance of any other fierce creatures, Chu Xian fed himself without any interruptions. The fish in the farm were gobbled up and devoured at an incredible speed, and in less than an hour, Chu Xian regained his lost level. Choosing to power up his toughness, Chu Xian paused for half a second before continuing to eat. Ding! Host has consumed 50 tons of fish. Acquired a one-time power-up of control. The sudden system announcement surprised Chu Xian and he paused for a moment. Glancing around at the fish that still surrounded him, he plunged headfirst and ignored the announcement. From splashing around until 3:30 a.m., Chu Xian brought down the fish population by at least 2/3. Finally, he swam out of the cordoned farm area, got back into his car and drove off. Lying on his bed at home, Chu Xian checked his status and was pleasantly surprised. Name, Chu Xian. Status, fish, can transform into a human. Level, 17, newborn little fish, 1.5 m. Combat power, 223. Ability. Devour, can evolve from eating smaller fish. Control, can control lower-leveled fish. Strangle, can use body to wrap around enemy. Big fish eat little fish system ability. Remold, can change the shape of self or fish under your control. Every transformation will lower your level or the level of the fish you control. Power up control, one time can select one fish under control effect to use a one-time absolute control boost. Control distance unlimited. Current limit to control boost, 1, increases by 1 with every 50 tons of fish. Absolute control. No distance limit. This is like having another self. Chu Xian thought excitedly. Even though the fish I control can't eat and grow without limit, the fish can still grow normally. Chu Xian thought with disappointment. Nevertheless, the ability was very useful. What if a fish under absolute control is remolded into a human being? The idea popped into Chu Xian's mind and he shook his head. Too crazy.